What's happening, people? Hope you guys are well. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Top, and it's the last review of the year. Crazy. It's been a crazy year of content. Definitely not the year that we've wanted. And even as a content creator, it's been difficult sometimes based on the performances to come up with stuff and review some of the same things, same problems. But we got a special performance from Shaun Johnson. It kind of leaves a sweet taste, at least for us going into the off season, but specifically for Shaun, just reminded us of his talent, of his greatness, of his ability on a footy field to do just some amazing things. But anyway, guys, please hit that like, subscribe. We'll get into that. But let's get into this game. Initially, a game I thought that we were going to really struggle with. I thought we kind of, farewell game at home for Shaun last week. I thought that was the time to give it our all. And I thought this game, wow, I haven't seen enough evidence to say that the boys will turn it around. And so I was expecting a strong performance, and then maybe we just peter out, that type of thing. Yes, I love the lineup. I loved seeing Tane. I think Tane, we'll get into Tane as well and what his future holds. CNK, I wasn't really too happy with CNK because I know what CNK has done at centre in the Kiwis, but he was actually on the right side in the Kiwis. I think he was on the left, but he looked good, and we'll get into that as well. So, Leatoa, I wanted to see more of him. SJ and Metcalf, just wanted to see it one last time. And we got a great performance from both of them. And then, Dimitri Sifakula. Those are the things I'm looking for, but you do want to get a win at Shark Park. You do want to get a win against the Sharks. And if anything, you want to maybe say, hey, you guys are still have that soft underbelly that I've called for them last year. And maybe, they're not really that going to be competitive in the finals. But despite that, you just want to get a win to end your season off. But yeah, the first half was great. I mean, start off Shaun Johnson taking on the line. I mean, this has been the difference with Shaun probably last year and this year, is that his willingness to take on the line, whether it's injuries or just, time's gotten to him, but he wound that clock back and he went right deep into the line. The classic Shaun, go to the outside, dummy and go, and then pass back on inside to Metcalf. It was beautiful and well executed play. And then we get on the front foot, we get starting off well, but our defense is just struggling to hold up. We do well in certain parts of the field, like we can do a kick downfield and pin a team down to their 30-meter. But we just seem to we can't maintain or sustain that level of consistency. So it's frustrating, but the edge defense, just couldn't hold up. Our middles were all over the place, struggling to get back to the defensive line, to quick play the balls. I thought Brayley was awesome. He just so nifty, quick, effective out of dummy half. Always they kept coming back in behind the ruck just because of the quick play of the ball. And then they got over a few. They targeted CNK. They targeted that edge, and got those two tries. And then we just kind of was trying to hang in there. And then those two tries just before halftime, and it's the same kind of story. It's just that we don't have that four-pack or the team to be able to defensively maintain for long periods of time. And so that's something obviously needs to be addressed in the off-season, but, it played its part. And I think it was like 22-4 or something like that. I can't really remember going into halftime, and felt like it was over. But, for me, the first half was pretty good. I thought CNK was actually really good in his role. Just quickly on that, I think for me, the Roger experiment personally, and I've backed it. Me and Ash have talked a lot about it, but from my end at least, just seeing CNK's performance, he was quite sharp, and just has just got a feel for what he needed to do in that position, and maybe just a little bit ahead of Roger for me in terms of in that spot. And so for me, I'm kind of the mindset that Roger is either going to play wing or fullback, one of the two. But that, just goes to show you that when you do have some good centre play and some good lines, I just don't think that's Roger's game, the little detail around that. But also, I thought Tane was really good at kind of at the out the back options, speeding that up. But I thought particularly CNK's type runs were a lot more effective as a centre as opposed to Rogers. Where Rogers' runs are very much like a wing or a fullback type run. So that may be what we need to do next year, or see what the best options are. I thought Tane was great. I thought Tane, his speed, his dynamics, it shows you in the modern game that a small player can actually dominate. Again, I've always mentioned that Tane's runs, he can find grass, he can find his front foot. The play the ball speed with the the speed of the game today, you don't get held down for long periods of time for being a smaller guy. But he finds his fronts, he changes pace, changes speed. That break that we made, we're out of our own end. That's the type of plays we've been missing this year, where we can get out of our own end and get on the front foot. And he's definitely a shout to get a starting spot next year. The thing about it, with any NRL player, and especially of smaller caliber, yes, they work, they're great. I thought he did one good one where he saved the try from Nikora, that extra effort. It's kind of weird because it's like a smaller guy can fit into smaller spaces, so it's kind of works in some ways. But on the opposite end, Hazelton running at him straight on, you might have a bigger fullback help change that, but ultimately in some positions he's going to be vulnerable as a defensive fullback. But what I'm saying is that the thing for Tane is, can he play like that? Can his body handle a full season of NRL? That will be the trickiest question for all three of them. Rogers getting older, CNK looked a little bit flat this year. Tane, he's still young, but from a body perspective, can he manage that as a smaller guy for a long period of time? That's going to be the tough question. But from what he brings to our team, I think it's very important that he gets an opportunity, or if we're going to do it, we're going to back him in the preseason and make that shift to Tane early as opposed to later. But anyway, I liked them. I thought the Lussick was pretty good. The middle forwards just struggled this year. Walker hasn't been that dominant. Marata's been off the boil. I think Marata came off the bench, and Jazz started. I thought that was good. I don't think Marata can be a starter. I think he's an impact player, but specifically, I think he's more of going to be a middle moving forward. I like Barnett as a starting back rower. I think that gives us a lot more. Capewell as well, I thought played pretty well. But just defensively, the likes of Walker, that we just cannot maintain that defensive integrity for long periods of time. And then when Egan came on, I think it was the right move, but to keep Lussick on, I thought was a poor decision from Webby. Kind of leaving Lussick on, you can see Lussick got dominated in many of his, as a prop technically. You kind of got powered over. So maybe a different type of change there. But I suppose, hey, it's the end of the season, just try stuff. Maybe Webby's looking at different things for next year, I'm not too sure. But yeah, going into the second half, again, they got 2 disallowed tries, and just felt like if they'd gotten one of those, I think Royce Hunt sat in the line where Egan couldn't close the space. The second one was someone impeded someone, I think, as well. So we got off the hook, but it was great for us because I think what happened was Ale came on. I think Marata was having just he's had a poor back into the season, probably a poor year. But I think Ale kind of brought some stability out there on the edge, and just the attacking shape started to click. You saw, I think Dallin went over the Shaun with the kick in behind. I mean, we should have been doing that more often this year, the kicks in behind. There's a lot of space. When teams are going to jam the half, they're going to move up as a unit, there's space in behind. So that's where I think to good effect, Shaun, really did well on that one. Tane as well involved out the back for one of CNK's tries. There was just a lot of uptick. And then Metcalf, the cutout pass to Montoya on that try was just absolutely beautiful. And I've talked about Montoya sitting too far deep sometimes. That's the spacing I'd like to see, a bit more width, hanging on the touchline, up on the play, so that you can get the advantage on top. So I thought that was beautiful. All the tries, I thought they were well worked, and it's credit to everyone that was involved in them. And then the they scored as well. We were on top, missed a few kicks again. It's just the story of our season, goal kicking. But we kind of got there. We're there or thereabouts, and then it kind of got into that last place. Just quickly on the head high on Dallin, it was a legit head high, and it had been building. I know Sharks fans are complaining about it, but it had been, it had been building up. It had been coming around. They couldn't stop it. They had to give that penalty. It was 10 in the bin for that alone, but there's a few other ones earlier in the game where they're just getting under the skin. Dill Walker just was about to blow up. He wanted to go to punch on, I think. There's a lot of niggle in the game. But I thought that was fair. Maybe not. At times I thought Hazelton was hard done by. That one where the guy's falling right to the ground is so tough. But they give the penalties and we'll take it. But we capitalised on that. They score, and then it comes into that last part of the game. Quickly on Leatoa. I said Halasima probably had the best line break as a centre, and spoke volumes of our centre stocks. But I think Leatoa has outdone that now. He had a good one against the Dolphins where he nearly scored, and he had that one there, just powered through Hines, fend off, got onto the fullback, fend off, change of hands. I love when wingers or centres change hands to fend. Yeah, that's basics of footy playing, but it's great to see. He was a threat the whole night. He was just kept asking questions. That early ball shift, I thought it was really cool. And that's what we're going to need next year. We're going to need that X factor. We're going to need Leatoa, in my opinion, to get an opportunity next year, because we're gonna have to need those types of players to keep us in games. But he had a great game, I thought. Then it kind of came to that last period of the game, and I thought when we went for the 2-point drop kick, I was like, I loved it. Loved seeing Metcalf take it, but it was just like, maybe that's the game there. And then the knock on from the Sharks player, and you just felt that it was time. It was absolutely time. You didn't quite know how it was going to look, but when it did happen, you knew it was going to be special. And then it kind of got to that second tackle. I think they went out the back to Tane, and he nearly kind of got through. And then they came back to the middle, and then they went for that last play. It's funny because I saw they actually called 6 again on that, so we would have had extra 20, but it was a beautiful cutout pass, right flush onto Dallin. SJ got the numbers right and just bulleted it out to him, and then Dallin just with a little moved his body weight inside, and the wing had already kind of shot to the outside. Dallin goes over, but there's just no better way for Shaun to ride off into the sunset at Shark Park, the club that he played for, and to do it in that fashion. There's something magical about that, and we'll miss Shaun, obviously. I wouldn't be afraid to say our best half. I mean, I've always loved Stacey from an old generation, but Shaun, he's got the points record. He's got a lot of the stats that beat him out, but you can't deny Shaun is one of our greatest New Zealand players, rugby league players, but also definitely Warriors players of all time. And just to see him do it in that moment was absolutely awesome. I just can't, so proud for him that he goes off in that way. I know I heard the comments about him coming back as a mentoring role. I could see that, but in some way, for me, coaching, you need to have a break from the game. And sometimes explore different avenues. I think for Shaun, probably need to get away from the club, similar to like how Mannering, the great ones, they do need a break from the club, and I wouldn't want them to come straight back. And I know he'll be valuable. I mean, I'm not trying to say that he wouldn't be, but sometimes you just need a bit of space, breathing space from the club, and then come back in at a different time. But that would be good at some point to have Shaun as a mentor. But for him, and his journey, that was absolutely wonderful to see. I just thought it was a great way to end the season. You can see on Webby's face just to get a smile. And it's been a long year. I mean, we're gonna be doing some reviews soon as content creators, and there's a lot to get through. But to get a win before you close out the season and head into Mad Monday, you know, was absolutely wonderful. And again, just the fashion in which SJ done it. I wish him all the best. I wish him. I know it's been a tough year for him, but I think that was the right call for him to sign off and to do it in that way again. But guys, that's that review. Thank you for hanging out with us content-wise. We're not done, but I just feel in terms of off the top, this was the last game. I want to just say quickly thank you to everyone for hanging around Wires Up TV and all the other content creators. I know they've all done great. Warriorholic, Anonymous, Fan TV, Fanatics, you know, everyone's been pushing and trying to create content, and it's been great to have people in the chats talking, sometimes arguing, sometimes you know, agreeing, disagreeing. It's all good, but hope you, if you do sign off here, I know some of you won't be into the international games or maybe even the finals. Maybe some might be signing off at this point. If you are signing off, thank you for being on the journey with us here at Wires Up TV. Thank you from me, myself, and Ash. We appreciate the love. And but yeah, hang around if you do want to. We've got more content coming up. We're going to cover, I think we're going to cover the Cup boys. They're going to go on a run soon. Saw they're up against the Panthers, so we might do a watch along. We might do some recap of that. We might get some other people involved that are really into that space. In our finals, you know, we got the Pacific Championships. Me and Ash will be definitely covering that. And then we've got, you know, talking about recaps for the year. Probably next week we're going to do some serious recapping. We'll do your tier lists, your 30-man squad, you know, signings. Who would you like to sign? Who you think comes up from development? Those types of things. So we appreciate you guys. But stay safe. Take care. Up the Wires as always. Come back stronger, better, bigger, and stronger next year. But thank you again from everyone here at Wires Up TV. Up the Wires. We'll catch you later. Peace.